What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode with the Exchange, TNV Clothing, and Cristhian Ortiz from Salvador Network. We're here to talk about MLS Week 4, New York Rebels 2, Orlando City 2 at Sports Illustrated Stadium. First of all, how are you guys doing? Jorge, Steve, tell me, what's going on?
Good. I'm enjoying St. Patty's Day. I just had some corned beef and cabbage. I know Steve probably don't like that. He probably wants me to eat chicken palm, but I ate the corned beef and cabbage today, Steve. Don't be upset, man.
That's okay. That's okay. I had my Guinnesses over the weekend, last weekend too. I celebrated, so I'm a bit over all the St. Patrick, holiday celebration. Yeah, St. Patrick, one of the worst Italians. Don't tell anybody, but we keep that on the hush that he's
Uh,
Italian. Not many people know, but whatever. We had a good weekend. Could have been a little better. Rebels could have won, but you know,
Dude, they're
yeah,
on
I
pace for the
agree.
77 ties from last year. They're on
yeah,
pace.
Draws,
you called it. You called it. But listen, it's the same formula. I'd rather tie than lose. So.
That's it.
Draws FC. So we get scored on first. Orlando City gets on the scoreboard.
A
Muriel does a
laser
good
too.
play, and then Martin Ojeda. Just talk to me about that first goal because I feel like in the first half they kicked our ass, man, and we didn't look good. We look unorganized. I think we're late on plays. We just didn't look good.
I think that a lot of guys are being overworked. It's a lot. There's not too many guys there. And even if you do have guys from the second team playing on the first team, they're playing on the second team a couple of days before and then training. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. And again, I'm going to keep going back to this. Like they didn't have a proper break. Granted, it was because of a good thing because they won the final, but you can't. These guys are all shanked. You could see it. You can see it.
Mm.
Yeah, and Sandro
Yeah.
Sandro Sandro decided to go with Raheem Edwards instead of Omar Valencia this time. Anything that you thought about that move, Steve? Anything that caught you by surprise? Because I really thought that, Omar Valencia probably didn't have a good game against Atlanta, but he should have started against Orlando this game.
Yeah, but I trust Sandro to make these choices. I trust Sandro to try to, mix and meld this lineup to see what his best starting 11 is with this injury list that we have, and hopefully some players coming off the list soon. I'll disagree with you guys a little bit. I didn't think we actually played too bad. We had a lot of the ball. This team loves to control the ball at home, which I love. They love playing on grass at SI Stadium. They just got caught out two times really bad. And I think that's just the organization of the back line constantly changing. So it was a risk to put in Edwards. Clearly, we found out it wasn't the right necessary risk. But considering his knowledge of the league, his experience versus Omar Valencia, who's still very new, I understand he's been playing at RB2. Maybe he has more of an understanding of the system compared to Edwards. Yes, it is a risk putting in Edwards, but I think he wanted to give Edwards the start. I mean, you have to give this guy a start. It's hard to trust Omar Valencia at such a young age. So it seemed like a back five, and I think that's what kind of messed us up. It was almost like a back four, almost, I thought at one point, and then it was a back five. I mean, we had almost five defenders on the field, but it wasn't organized, and that's how we ended up getting caught out just on a counterattack.
And
And
yeah, and
I thought that was offsides.
which
The
one?
It
second
looked
goal for Orlando, it looked like it was offside. It almost looked, unless obviously it wasn't. But to me, when I saw it, I'm like, dude, that's offsides by like a year.
well, which
Unless it was
one? The
timed
first one or the
perfectly.
second
The
one?
second one.
The
Well,
second one
that's
with
what I'm
Raheem.
saying. The first one was fine. We'll talk about that, and then Red Bulls even it up. And like I was saying, the team, as bad as you think we were playing, we had the ball the whole time. We earned. Dennis Gjengaar had a great chance to level it up right after Orlando scored, and then we earned the penalty. Stroud goes down, Choupo goes down, so you got two penalty shouts, and then we get that penalty, we score the goal. But yes, on that second goal, we everybody thought it was offside. Even the Orlando player looked back over his shoulder to see if anybody was even chasing him, and they weren't, and he just slotted it home.
Yeah, and Sandro pointed it out in the press conference. He mentioned that it wasn't a tactical error; it was an individual error from Raheem Edwards. So
Yeah.
that's something that he should have probably been aware of. He was playing him alongside Palisic, right? I think is the guy that
Yes.
scored. And it was unfortunate because I think like we were getting momentum back. let's talk about that first New York Red Bulls goal, because I feel like Eric Maxim Choupo Moting showed up in this game. I
Dude,
think
he's been showing up every week.
Yeah,
You know,
and this
on
is
the
amazing.
low, he has been playing. He's probably been the best player on the team on the low.
I
Yes.
think we're seeing
The
better
first
and better.
every week. And dude,
Yep.
I was worried. You remember the guys? I was talking to you
We
guys
all
for
were.
an episode, and we're like, dude, this guy hasn't played in years,
Yeah.
2 seasons. So like, what are we expecting, dude? This guy has not lost a step. Matter of fact, most of the chances that have been created by him.
Yep. Yep.
He
And
had
this
he had he had two though. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Everybody
I'm
yell,
sure you
everybody
guys
yell.
are too. Like, having a guy you can just play off of, they can hold the ball up and just dish it. Dude,
Yeah.
everything and more. That's what we need.
Yeah. I like that. Like, if you really, I try to pay attention to the way he uses his body to protect the ball and just lets the ball run. And nobody can track him. It's too late. So when Johnson tries to stop him, he clips it on the leg, and he created it. He created that own opportunity, and I think that he's very important in this team because, like you said, Steve, he's able to hold up play, and he was distributing faster now. I feel like he gets the hang that you can't be dribbling all the time in MLS because players are going to come after you. So he's releasing the ball quickly. He's finding players. He also gave another great opportunity to Dennis Gjengaar to score.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yep.
if you remember. You saw it,
Yeah,
right?
Yes, and he missed.
I mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those are the things that we can talk about finishing, like the improvement. Dennis Gjengaar had two great opportunities in the game, and
Red
in
Bull
the
should have
second
won.
half too. They're one by itself, right? Was it the in transition?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And
No, we
Edwards
had.
missed one. They should have won. They should have won that game.
Yeah.
Red Bull should have won that game.
Yeah, we had enough chances to win that game. It was good to see Choupo Moting get his first of the season. Love that.
Like
Great
that.
penalty too. Full of confidence. And I think it's just like he knows how to play the game. He has a lot of ball knowledge of just even if his fitness isn't all the way up, he knows how to hold players off. He knows when to release the ball. He can see the run coming. He can make passes to Dennis and dish, you know what I mean, and score. So I think this is only the beginning and just keeping him healthy. Everything's been good. So I want to keep seeing Choupo Moting do good, make assists, shoot some goals in. Man, let's go.
Yeah,
He's been
and then
savage, man.
just to mention too, he also had a header, which was extremely difficult to do, and he surprised Galese. It almost went in, I think, by the end of the first half.
Yeah.
I think by the second half, maybe he was running out of gas a little bit. The team itself,
We're
it started
dead
to
the
look a
second
little
half.
different. Yeah. And
The last 10 minutes after Dennis hit the post was rough. Yeah.
Yeah. We can talk about Dennis right now, but just to say another 90 minutes from Choupo Moting. I think he was chosen for Team of the Week this
He
time
had
today.
to. It's about time.
Yeah.
He was just
And
waiting for a goal to get him on there. That's all he needed.
100% well deserved. He didn't even, as the funny fact is that they didn't even allow him to come to the media. He had to do things with Apple TV after after the game. But kudos to him, man. He's showing up. And then Dennis Gjengaar, man. Talk to me about him kind of playing like in a different role, like Lewis Morgan. He's in the middle. He's on the wing. He was doing a lot for the team against Orlando.
And
Yeah,
he found himself in good positions.
Yeah.
And he gave himself chances, which he was supposed to do. So obviously you're missing the void in Lewis Morgan, but he did the job. He was in those spots, but he had a little bit of Dante syndrome where he was missing a couple chances that were close. But he did what he had to do, right? I mean, he was there at the right place, right time every time. You can't ask for more.
Yep, and he has that speed too, which some people forget how fast he is. So he can get on the ball, he can press pretty good as well, and that helps align with the system and how Sandro's trying to play. So it made sense for him to get another start on the left there, and it's a big role to play. He's played in that like left back-ish role too, or as a wing back. So I think he liked just having the responsibility of just being up the field, just going up and down the field. It said it suited him. So, and like I talked to him after the game, it feels good to have a little confidence behind you with Sandro starting him.
Credit to Sandro because he had to use Dylan Nealis as a wing back. And I think the first half, Muriel and Atuesta, the Orlando forwards were getting the best of him. And probably had to do a little bit with coordination with Noah Isla too, but he risked it so Dennis Gjengaar can have the opportunity to replace that Lewis Morgan void. It did end up fixing in the second half. I think we saw a little bit more of a coordination and the pressure and the intensity in the second half. We saw the opportunities being created, and yeah, I think like you mentioned, Jorge, the Dante syndrome. It's unfortunate, but I think both teams were aggressive at the same time too. So let's not forget
if that ball goes in the net, that ball bounces in the post and in the net, we're singing Dennis Gjengaar's praises.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So it's really not that far off, a few inches left to the right, and then he's the man of the match, and he's this, another young guy coming through the system. So I think if he just stays at it, I liked what I saw from him. I want to, if he has that confidence, he likes to shoot. Let's see more of that. And he's going to need to be a main catalyst in this until we get healthy.
Yeah, that's a good point because if you really think about it, he could be replacing Cam Harper or Lewis Morgan. You found him in two positions that we could, probably use him in case one of them goes down in the future. So that's a positive side.
Dude, that is great. I know you guys hate it when I do it, but on the other side of the river, you have somebody that could play almost any position with Hack. He could play anywhere, and he's okay with that. So if you have a guy that's versatile that could play anywhere, when you have the situation that the Red Bull have right now and guys start coming back, a guy like him could be in that position or any position where the next person that is their spot because they're back is back.
Swiss Army knife, yeah.
And this is the short window he has. So, I mean, even if it's a small sample size, he needs to make the most out of this moment before Lewis gets back, before Cam gets back, for him to really be considered again. I mean, he didn't even play in the playoffs. And I think that bothered him. I mean, I knew it was hard to get into the lineup. We were getting healthier, but even with all like the guys playing on half of a hip or a knee, he probably would have liked to see the field. Yeah. But hey, it seems like he's happy to see the field now, and this is the time to do it. We got an international break, so I'm sure Dennis will get another start.
Dude, speaking of the international break, Miami gets a week off, another week off, right?
I did not notice. Is that so?
I read somewhere that Miami has this week off.
But Messi's even playing. It's not even worth it.
I know, but it's like you're giving that club the time off. So they get an extra week while everybody just has the week.
Is it because of Champions League? Because they played a Champions League game?
I have no idea. But when I saw it, I'm like, dude, here we go with this ridiculous bullshit again.
That might be, I know that is ridiculous, but that might be a reason why, because they're playing 2 times a week almost.
If you don't want to play 2 times a week, if you don't want to play 2 times a week, suck. Right? If you don't want to play 2 times a week, suck.
Yeah, by the way, they're number 1 in the East now, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They are.
Yeah. So I think they're starting to pick up. I think Messi scored a incredible goal. But enough of them. Just going back to the game.
Yeah, that's it.
Raheem Edwards too, man. Raheem Edwards had 2 good opportunities to score, and he
drank the Dante juice
right in the box. Everybody.
They take the Dante raid.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know that a lot of people were expecting him to score in that open shot, but it was too fast. The play is too fast, and I think if he takes time to control it and take the shot, maybe the ball is stolen or blocked. So, it's good that his position in the box is great. Also remember, first start in the season with the Red Bulls, he shows some great things. I think I like the way that he dribbles through defense. He does well in short spaces. I think he's still getting used to or adapting to the defensive side with the 3 center backs and him being a wing back. He needs a little bit more of coordination there, when to step up, when to close down. But I think with confidence, he could be a really good number 2, and then that also puts Omar Valencia on his toes. But I was still surprised though, because I did see Omar Valencia after the game, and the Panamanian press were talking to him, and he was just, there was nothing wrong with him. It was just a coaching decision, but it's tough. It's tough to make a decision like that. But sorry, just to add on, I also think since Omar Valencia has national team duty with Panama, it makes sense that Raheem gets a little bit of that going,
Yeah.
especially we're not going to be with Omar for next week.
Yeah, and now no Andy Rojas too, which
That's
I
true.
thought we would maybe see
That's
him in
Chris's
this
boy.
game.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody asked him. I wanted to ask him that question too, because you only have four, if I'm not mistaken, either 4 or 6, but 4 times that you can use the short-term agreement. And this is a good player, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sandro is aware of. And, Wiki Carmona has not really impressed me. I think he
That's
made a couple
Sandro's
of
baby.
mistakes. That's what I'm saying. Like, he
Don't
didn't have a
matter.
good game against Atlanta. Offensively, he didn't have a
And
good
he was
game.
poor when he came on too.
And he lost a ball that could have led to an Orlando goal. So
Yep.
I'm confused as to what do you want to see from Wiki, or what do you want to see from Andy to put him on, especially we're limited to just 2 more opportunities to see him play. What do you guys think of Wiki when he came on?
No, he was poor. I mean, that whole last 10 minutes was slow. I don't know if Jumpy you saw, but Wiki came on for Emil Forsberg, and the team just we didn't press. We just stopped playing, and then
Yeah,
McGuire
really bad.
had a chance, I think, and Carlos made a couple good saves, one kick save, and another good save.
Again. Every week, Steve, Chris, me, every week, somebody on this screen is talking about Carlos and how Carlos saves things from being worse, and he still hasn't gotten the bag. Every week,
Yeah,
every week.
No, I will even say these saves last week were, I don't want to say more important, but they looked more impressive given the situation at the end of the game and how Orlando was pressing and they took the ball and it was quick turnovers and Carlos had to be on his toes. So very impressive. Yes, he does deserve a bag. Shout out Carlos Cornell.
It's funny because Steve was saying the same thing. He was like, "No, this time these are really good saves." When we're watching the last 10 minutes of the game in the South War. But I did tell Steve the same thing too. It's like, dude, we're playing at home. We should not be playing so defensively against Orlando. They came at us. I mean, and then that was a tactical move by Oscar Pareja, because they pressed us high and we were struggling, especially when Emil Forsberg came off, Dennis Gjengaar came off. We just couldn't control it anymore. I think we got lucky.
My thing was too, when I saw Forsberg coming off, dude, at that point you just got to suck it up and stay out there for that last couple minutes. Yeah. I think that a sub like that late, for somebody like that, for a guy like Wiki who hasn't been performing at a top, I would say, or I'm not going to say inconsistent either. I don't really know what to call it, because he hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been great. He's just been there.
Right.
With the last 10 minutes of a tie game, he shouldn't be playing those games.
Yeah, it ended up being a bad decision from Sandro, who usually has been pressing all the right buttons. But yeah, that was a bad sub and almost ended up in the back of our net off of his turnover. Thankfully, it didn't, and Carlos saved our ass. And we just hope for the best that Wiki can find some kind of form, because it's not looking good for him, unfortunately, right now.
Yeah, and then also Serge Goma comes on for his first appearance.
Yeah, Serge Goma, yeah.
That was good to see.
I love him, man. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he changed his number to 81 too. Shout out Serge Goma. Let me know what that's about, man. I don't know what's up with 81, but I mean, we need him. He's a big player. He's a gamer. He's got a lot of speed. He looked good. Little flashes here and there in the couple minutes that he had the ball. His touch a little bit further than it should have been, but I think he'll get in and he'll be a great sub role moving forward.
Yeah, and I think he was eager to show that he can contribute. Yeah, like you said, Steve, the touch is perhaps a little heavy, but we haven't seen him play in a while. So, but I think he could be very dynamic and just like Sandro did, touch the wood and hopefully he stays healthy. The same question that they asked Sandro: was this a good draw? Was this a good point? Or did we feel like we lost too?
I think with the chances that you missed, listen, you never want to lose, but you missed chances that you should have won. Yeah. It's the same thing. When I went to the game to NYC, I had the first question, right? And I asked Pascal, I'm like, 2 great wins, and now you're going on the road against Columbus and Atlanta. And he was like, 2 great wins. He's like, I wasn't happy with those 2 wins.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh. And he was like, yeah, we didn't do things the right way. We got lucky, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, he's holding his guys accountable. I think
Yeah.
Sandro needs to start doing that. I think Sandro, I don't know how it works there, but like at the end of the game, he just talked about the last 10 minutes, a disappointment in the last 10 minutes, but he has to do a little bit more. I think he needs to light a little bit more of a fire under these guys, especially at home. Especially road games, okay. You know, you come home with a draw, it's like a win. But when you're home, you gotta win those games.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm really in between.
You're always in between. The Steve Coaster.
I'll go up and down for you, baby.
I know.
Oh,
my man.
All right, chill. But like all things considered, with the lineup, with how poor Raheem Edwards played, with how poor Wiki came in and performed, with the injuries and everything, it's not a terrible draw. But yes, we should be winning. We controlled most of that game. We had most of the possession. We had the best chances, and it was 2, fucking dumb mistakes that led to Orlando's goals. Orlando didn't work us around, and they just found the hole in the defense and they exploited it with the ball over the top. Pretty basic shit that Red Bulls could snuff out. And I think Sandro was, because he disregarded the whole game. It's just that last 10 minutes pissed him off, because we all thought too that another goal or another chance would be coming for Red Bulls after Dennis Gjengaar hit the post, and that was it. So yeah, it's like you'll settle for a point. I'm not super angry, but all things considered, it's okay. It's still early, and with the schedule, Orlando, we just beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're not going to take this game lightly. They're coming after our necks. But Toronto next week, they're mincemeat, regardless of how many people we have out. I think that's the key to this too. It's like we have all these guys out, and we can get results. The only thing that we lost was the first game. All right. And now this game, we should have won whatever we drew, but we should have won, like you said, Jumpy. So with everything considered, it's not terrible. But if we don't win these next couple games that are like gimme ones, then I'll start getting a little angry if Sandro doesn't, start holding the boys more accountable.
100%, Steve. You know what I was just thinking too, now that you're mentioning that? They're lucky that these injuries and these games are happening against these dead teams.
No, but
Orlando's not too dead, but Toronto.
They lost last week to NYC, who isn't that great.
But no, they're not a bad team. I mean, Atuesta, Martin Ojeda, Muriel.
I'd say they're mid-table. They're a mid-table team. Toronto is a bottom feeder. Toronto, you have to get 3 points next week. Orlando, okay, mid-table, but you should have won. Yes.
I don't know if I checked the table, but they haven't gotten a point yet, right? Toronto.
Oh, New England?
No, Toronto.
Oh,
I think they just have one draw.
One draw. Okay, one draw. I mean, we can't be draw FC against Toronto. I mean, that if there's a moment where we need to win, it has to be now. But reminding fans, whoever's listening, we're not going to be with Carlos Coronel for this game. Dennis Gjengaar is going to Norway. We're not going to have him for this game either. So he just scored a goal. He's not going to be available.
You see Serge Goma then maybe.
Yeah. I think so. Well, no, I don't think he's ready to start the game, Steve.
I was going to say that too. No
Would
way.
you take the risk?
I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to see Steve coming out, number 77. Steve.
That's why I've been hitting the gym. I got my Red Bull hat on. I got my gear ready. Sandro, just give me the call up. Left wing, I'm in there.
We're going to be looking. Where's Steve? Oh, there he is. He's the only one that came out with a Metro Stars jersey. Steve got the Metro jersey on.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. We're going to be without Sofo because he's out for another week. So we're more likely going to see either Tanner Rosborough is going to be with the U17. So it has to be Julian Hall who's going to play if he doesn't get injured. And then, no Omar Valencia. And then so far, luckily, Emil Forsberg didn't get called up. So at least we're going to keep him. And then hopefully another 90 minutes from Choupo. Listen.
Yeah, these might catch up to, right, with those two big guys logging all these minutes early with Forsberg and Choupo, one of those guys is going to, just maybe even take a maintenance break in the middle of the season And I'm okay with that as long as you come back at the end of the season and you're 100%. So it's what you have to do. At least another little positive we could take from it. We saw Felipe Carballo come in, and he looked way better today. He was making slide tackles. He was moving the ball. He was going into challenges. So it
I
looks like
it, man.
yeah, he's getting more healthy. So, and that's super important to help out Peter Stroud and Daniel Edelman, another two guys who've been starting every game.
Yeah. And how do you like Peter Stroud's game? I think it was good. It has been pretty solid so far.
Yeah,
Covering
no,
for Felipe.
it was positive. Otherwise, the media wouldn't have, called him over, I don't think either. So,
Agreed.
yeah, I think it's positive. And he mentioned it last year that he was kind of thrown into the fire. He kind of rushed getting back because he wanted to play in the playoffs so bad. And we needed him anyway with Carballo being out. So I think he was maybe one of the few guys that got the proper rest over the offseason. And now he's in the full swing of things, which is really good.
Speaking of Peter Stroud, guys, I have to. Come on. These guys did me dirty. Red Bull posted the same exact video that I posted that we did that the exchange posted. Come on, man. I cannot wait to go to that training this week. I got to find out, like, how does this happen? I reached out to somebody who used to do the social media for a team, and I'm like, dude, listen, I need to know how to handle this. And he's like, dude, listen, I'm going to tell you something. He's like, take it as like a compliment.
Yeah,
you just made their team scramble around to adjust their thing because they saw yours. So take it as a compliment. Don't be offended. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I texted Chris this morning at 7:15 in the morning. The guy still got eye boogers. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this situation? Come on, man.
Hey, they like your content, man. That's the thing. I mean, we're gonna point out all these things, and their social media team, if they see any kind of traction, they want that too. And they struggle online, social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you might want to call it. Red Bulls, they need every like, comment. So whoever they can pick from and not tell where they sourced it from, that's what it's about. You know what I mean? It sucks, but a little plagiarism from Red Bulls over the exchange. I don't know how I'm feeling about that.
Yo, I heard they're gonna put a vintage store in the Red Bull shop this week, bro.
Yo, we're about to take that place down, dude. No way. I'm gonna take it down before it gets set up.
Two last things that I want to talk to you guys about. Attendance drop from the last home games. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
I think the numbers are always bullshit. So you're asking the wrong guy.
But he was, and not only that, but he was more emptier. Yeah.
But you ask Zach every week, he's like, yeah, 20,000. The fuck out of here. There's like 16 people here, bro. There's like 16 people here. 22 people playing and 16 people here. Stop. And 3 of them are right here on the screen.
I'm dying. But yeah, no, like, being up in the media area too, you get a really good scope of the stadium. It is a shame it doesn't fill up a little bit more. 2:30. It wasn't cold. It wasn't raining today, so no real excuses. I know it's early. The South Ward isn't the problem. The South Ward fills up pretty good. I don't know how the numbers really are. I'm guessing it's like if I had to guess, it's probably like 14,000 in that stadium. I know they said 16, but if you listen to Mark Fishkin, I guess that's just like how many number of tickets have been allocated or have been sold. So not everybody shows up. Not everyone uses the tickets. Some people are in the VIP. You don't even see them. They're in the suites. They're in the Audi Club. They're on the concourse. So a lot of people like to just hang out in different spots in the arena and not even sit in their seat. So they got to do better with getting, more casual fans into the stadium for these regular season games and getting them more involved.
I got to
Seattle just did some.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jorge.
No, you go.
No, I wanted to pick your brain because you see kind of like both sides. Obviously you cover NYCFC, you cover Red Bulls. What do you think that the team needs to do?
Dude, I honestly, I don't know if you guys saw, but Seattle Sounders just pulled out something where if it's your first time going to an MLS game, you go for free. So
yes.
They register your email, they let you in for free. I think on days like a 2:30 game against Orlando would have been the perfect thing to start to invite the community to come in, not for free, at a super discounted rate. Like this week, you could have got a ticket for NYCFC. I think it was for like 20 or something like that, $20 or $10, $10.24 for the 10-year anniversary and the 24th year, whatever it was. But they're constantly doing promotions like that. There was a decent crowd, but also I'm realizing that the culture is very different in the Bronx and in Queens. And I think it's because there's a lot of Spanish people who grew up with the game. So this is their game. You know what I mean? When you go to Red Bull, it's more of like a family thing. You see more families, people who go because it's cheap. Like they don't really know. They're not really like about it. You know what I mean?
Yes. No,
So
completely.
I think that needs to be trickled in. Listen, the South Ward's always bringing it. You know that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
people around that are always bringing it, but there needs to be a crowd bringing it, and it has to be when Messi's not there. Like we know when Messi comes. No, I'm not even joking. You know, like I have a comment that's floating around that when they were talking about Houston, people crying like, "Oh, Messi didn't come. I bought these tickets for $10,000," and you shouldn't be going there for Messi. You should be going there because he's playing your team, which is Houston, and he's coming. He's the away team. The only team that has gave him a welcome that's like you are not welcome is NYCFC. When that bus rolled up, they all ripped them to shreds.
Yeah.
They were, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and listen, I'm a New York, New Jersey guy too. I agree with that, but Ohio didn't welcome him that great either. In those Cincinnati games and Columbus, that's the only other thing I can think of. Other than that,
but
other than
Cincy
that-
is like a football, like Cincinnati, they have a culture there.
yeah, I know, and that's what's lacking here. And I don't know what's gonna spark it in this community again. It seems to come in waves. We had a little wave in 2018 with Tyler Adams and them, and I'm waiting for this wave here too. I mean, we just made it to the MLS Cup. I
But
mean,
nobody knows that.
and so there's a lot of factors, and I'm just waiting. Like, what's it gonna take? Is it gonna take like a big signing? And I don't even think Timo Werner is even a big enough signing.
That was
That's
my
the
next
name.
question. That was my next question.
Yeah. And that's why I think it's up to Jurgen Klopp and Mario Gomez and some of these bigger figureheads to get the most and milk this, because you have a nice stadium. There's definitely soccer heads around New Jersey, and New Jersey is one of the most
You're right
populated.
there in Newark. There's like so many.
You got
You're
the New
right
Jersey
there.
Devil. The Devils have figured it out. I mean, I know they got players and stuff, and hockey's bigger, but if they can figure it out, I know the Red Bulls can figure it out too. It's still missing that disconnect. You know, this is a big topic that we can dive into, but clearly I'll just leave it at this. There is still a disconnect somewhere amongst people in the New York, New Jersey area to this club.
Yeah, and then Jorge, just your thoughts. If we sign Timo, does that make a difference in the attendance?
No, I don't think that's the name that brings people in. For us, we're like, holy shit, it's Timo Werner, because we know and we've seen. But somebody who's a casual, Timo Werner is like a fucking Edwards. They couldn't tell the difference. You could have Timo Werner walk by people. Dude, you know what's crazy? I tell people there's players who walk around the stadium, right? That aren't playing. Like when Gomos, dude, people don't even know. And they're there rooting for these guys. And they're like rubbing elbows with like Kyle Duncan, Sergeant Goma, Julian Hall. You know, last year I had Julian Hall and Zidane, both of them, and I was like talking to the both of them. And I'm like, nobody here like stops. They don't even know. They like, I'm in my head, I'm like, what is wrong with this picture?
Yeah, I know. I
Lois Morgan. I saw Lois Morgan like going to his seat. I'm like, how would nobody know this is Lois Morgan? He plays for your team.
They should be running towards him, asking for selfies, for autographs. Yeah, they should.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to do, and I think Apple doesn't help either.
Yeah, but I heard there's a beef with that. That they're going to try to get that changed up soon.
So I think there's a sports culture too, if you ask me. Just being a customer, being a person who's been in and out of MLS in the sport industry, they just don't do enough in sports bars and any sporting realm, and where to get more people. I just like the Seattle Sounders idea of just being able to invite the community in more. I know they do stuff around Kearney and Newark, which is nice and it's good for PR. But I'm telling you, to switch fans over to get them to come to the game, in New Jersey, it's tough. You got to earn it, and they got to want it too. And it can't just be some little gimmicky, Red Bull activation where you shoot the ball through the net. I'm talking, you need to start giving away some stuff and get people connected to this. to the Bulls.
Steve is gonna bring the Latinas to the game.
Anything we got to do, man. Anything we got to do to get more people in the building. I know we'll show out for the big games, but any home game we should be getting 20,000, man.
I agree.
I agree. And dude, especially at 2:30. Like the excuses are always like at 7:30, it's so late, dude. It's at 2:30.
I know, and the tickets aren't cheap. I mean, this is the same amount as going to a minor league baseball game, and this is pro soccer in the States too. People gotta want to feel connected to their team, and like I said, there isn't enough connection there. People gotta this is our local team. This is America's, New Jersey and New York's team. You don't have another club until the USL gets Division I. Then you won't. And I think sometimes that's a better story than Red Bull's manufactured story. People don't like it.
When I was younger, I remember going to like a ShopRite on 440, and it was like Tab Ramos, El Tanque, guys were in the community promoting.
Yes.
And when I recently sat with Tab, he's like, our job, with Parks, he was like, our job was to promote the game just as much as we're playing the game. They've kind of shied away from that.
Yes.
You see stuff for Red members. You see that thing at Adidas.
It's too exclusive.
And it's in New York. It's in New York.
My neighbor loves soccer, but he's never going to go if you're like only giving away fucking bucket hats and everything. If he's like a Red member, long-time member. No, we need we constantly need new fans, because fans come in, they get rubbed up and they get a bad taste in their mouth. Like, I don't want to go to Red Bull anymore. Well, we got to keep cycling more people in.
We keep having problems with finishing. I wonder why they don't show up next game.
We'll leave it at that. We can go off on this topic any day.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to start going Monday Night Raw to Tasty Tuesday. I don't know, guys. We got to keep going. This might have to be like a 3 days in a row show.
But
I don't know,
I can't. Sorry, but I won't give all the hate to Red Bulls. Red Bulls, it's been a problem for a while. That's why almost like nobody talk. That's why like nobody talks about it as much anymore, because it's like been a thing for a while.
It's like a norm.
That's just the way it is. But for NYCFC, they don't really fill up all the time. I know it's a baseball stadium, so it's kind of hard to tell. So it will be interesting to see what NYCFC's attendance looks like after that first year of their stadium. So,
but you know what, dude? For a team that doesn't have their own stadium, both of those stadiums bring people. Yo, Steve, let me see what you got over there for that vintage. Show me something. Show me something today.
They do.
Close us off. Let me see the kid of the week.
Let's go. The kid of the week.
I got a banger here. Well, they call it Grails, all right? This is a 1994, going back to, the original World Cup here in America.
Wow. That's
Ireland.
Fire.
With the Opel sponsor, too. Felt.
That's fire.
Sick.
They used to be a Milan sponsor.
Yep.
That's a sick kit. Where is it from again? What team?
Ireland.
Oh.
St. Patty's Day, baby. My man
Look at that
Steve.
badge.
Oh.
Look at the badge. Federation of Ireland, my friend.
Where can they find this? Where can fans find this?
You just go on to feelsgoodfc.com.
There we go.
I love it.
You gotta come for the exchange in Southward and stay for TNV and Feels Good FC, man.
Oh, that's it. Come to the game naked. You can leave with a shirt from Steve. He'll sell you one out of his trunk.
Shirts, pants, jackets, whatever you need, hats, scarves, I got you.
He got you covered. Guys, this is another great episode. We'll see you next week for the Toronto recap.